The state of Indiana's takeover of the Gary Public School Corporation has made everything worse for the citizens of this community.
I'm not sure that you all are really hearing us. We have had forums, we've talked, we've discussed, emails have gone out. How do we get to a place where we can actually see change? I don't think you all really understand that when MGT is gone, when DUAB is gone, we are still responsible for our community. We're still responsible for the education that our children are receiving, and it is poor. It has gotten worse. It has not gotten better.
I am here as a concerned citizen of Gary, Indiana. I serve on a couple of boards here in Gary, Indiana. I was born and raised in Gary, Indiana. I am a product of the Gary public school system. My mother taught, my grandmother taught, and I am feeling really some kind of way this morning because this is unacceptable. This is not the way that any child or any school district should function on any level.
In an unprecedented misuse of state authority, for more than 5 years, the state of Indiana has taken over the management and oversight of the Gary Community School Corporation and failed miserably. This dictatorial move has negatively impacted the students of our public school system. What we're left with is a determination to have the state take their knees off our necks.
What you have in front of you is some pictures that I took along with some information March 2017. And I brought those pictures so you can see that in 2019 and what you have in front of you in 2017, nothing has changed.
I hate to even stand up here and ask for this. I've been asked for 2 years. The restrooms don't even have toilet paper. The restrooms don't even have stall doors. It's a whole bunch of stuff that's being duct taped at that school. And I'm saying, just like the previous person said, why are we paying MGT and all these people all this money? And we could take that money and direct it towards the children for their better enrichment.
The concerned citizens of Gary have repeatedly spoken out against the atrocities that are taking place in our community. We have constantly said no to the endless misstatements, lies, trickery, slickery, and disingenuous antics perpetrated by MGT management. Their shameful practices have gotten them kicked out of other school districts, including Denver, Colorado.
MGT was helping run Adams' 14 schools and improve their academic performance. Last month, the district fired them, saying MGT wasn't working in the district's best interest.
This is not good management. And then when we go to DUAB and we explain, hey, this is what's taking place, guess what? They tell us to go back to MGT. How is it that a criminal can govern themselves? How is it that a criminal can determine how long I'm going to jail, which would probably be not at all?
We must have the right, just like every other city in Indiana, to govern ourselves, especially concerning our children and matters of the Gary Community School Corporation. I doubt any other community in this state would allow others from outside the community to make decisions that affect their lives and the lives of their children.
Even in Gary, there was a time when segregation was illegal. So when Indiana repealed segregation in 1949, Gary schools went from 20 schools to 40 schools because the reality in our community is that people didn't want to integrate. So you had 17 schools that were all white. In our heyday, our school population was about 42,000 people. But when you lose that and you have to deal with the reality of white flight, you're left with buildings that were built in a segregated time in different codes and different areas. This is where we are now. So as a parent, I'm saying that there's a sense of urgency that our children need you to fix it. And I start off with the notion that I'm a resident of Gary, but I'm a citizen of the United States of America. And my child is a citizen of the United States of America. So as a parent, I should be able to have an expectation that when I send my son to school, I don't have to psychologically worry about kids going to a restroom without a stall door, kids sitting in a library that's leaking. And so the problem in Gary is not that we need experimentation with our children, that we need takeover. We need respect.
And I have emailed some of you and I have not received a response. And I gave you a whole list of issues that need to be addressed. Even a few weeks ago, I attended a DUAB meeting and I could not respond. All I could do is sit there, listen. And I heard MGT come in with an agenda to lie, to present something that was not true as to what is going on in the Gary Community School District. I could not believe it. And do you know there were hardly any questions asked? There was no accountability. They're able to just come in and say, hey, this is what we want to do, and DUAB just gives them the approval, gives them pretty much a blank check.
Under the misdirection of the state of Indiana, since DUAB and MGT have taken control of the Gary Community School Corporation, student dropout rates have soared. This has gone on for far too long.
Is a takeover, as you all know. Well, when a takeover happens, that means I'm going to do a better job than what you were doing when you had it. We are not seeing that. And now we're going into 3 years. And I'm glad you showed the empty building. There are so many. When you come in and take over, you come in and you survey, what do you have in place already? What is already here that I can use? No, that hadn't even been done. Do you know that they didn't even know that some of these closed buildings had brand new, unused, unwrapped books? They're still just sitting there.
The school system in Gary was once a source of pride and one of its most formidable. We excelled academically as well as athletically.
First of all, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, Gary was the #1 school district in the whole United States. Japan came here to model their school district after Gary.
Gary schools can get there again, but without the awful mismanagement of MGT, where under their direction, our children's graduation rates and academic achievement rates have plummeted.
I just want to give you an example. MGT hired an emergency manager who then gets an opportunity to hire other staff. Well, I'm here to tell you that some of the staff isn't even qualified. So for example, we have a CFO who has an associate's degree, has not had any experience in an urban community, does not have a bachelor's nor a master's, nor is a licensed CPA in the state of Indiana, but then is given the responsibility to handle millions of dollars for our children. So I'm just using that as an example, because if this is where leadership is going, how in the world can we trust them with our students? How in the world are we going to be able to trust them with our...
What good are schools if they're not educating and teaching our children to be prepared for life? The vile, demonic television shows on public education programming 22 to attempt to educate our children are wrong, and they must cease immediately. The citizens and community of Gary, including our families, have worked hard for years to build and educate, only to have colonizers come in and destroy.
I think that the West Side swimming pool need to be fixed. There's a lot of African-American students that do not know how to swim, and we're right on a lake.
Our state does have a $2 billion surplus. They need to give us a new school like I see all over the state.
I've been preaching for 2 years that we need a new high-tech school built.
Enough. These unjust policies end now. They are racist and are clearly destroying our children while gradually destroying the Gary public school system.
But what happened to us was unfair, unconstitutional, and today I'm begging this board to correct it.
We just want resources that are due to our community. We love our kids just like you love yours. And just like you want the best for your students, for your children, for your family members. Do you think it's wrong that we continue to ask the same thing, meeting after meeting? These requests are not new to you all. You've heard this before.
Do the right thing. Do what needs to be done. Treat these children in a way that they deserve to be treated. Give them the education that they deserve to have.